Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue video podcast. We are live streaming. It's a happy Sunday, and I am so thrilled to be joined by my friend, Joe Silva of Bellies Barbecue. And let me see if I can make sure I get Joe in here. There he is.
What is up, man?
All right. Not too much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. A
All
little
right.
tired, but I'm doing well.
Well, again, I really appreciate you coming on. So for those that don't know, Joe did come on last year. He was amongst the first guests that I had on the podcast. And, we really had a good time just, chopping it up and, getting to know each other. And he was gracious enough to come back on. And I really do appreciate it. Now, let me just say a few things. Now, Joe has an outstanding Instagram page. I mean, he puts up some of the best barbecue stuff that I have seen. Really gets me motivated. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And Joe also does catering and pop ups. And you're based out of Upland, California, which I believe is in San Bernardino County.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So let's just get right into it. So for people who don't know or haven't heard your story, why don't you start off? Just tell us, what got you into barbecue and what drives you to keep at it, to do it as a profession.
Well, let's see. I started cooking at a pretty young age. Um, I remember kind of my sister. My sister took care of us a lot growing up, so she kind of taught us the ropes on how to cook on the stovetop. And I remember just having joy cooking. You know what I mean? So I kind of cooked all my life. And as I got older, um, I ate a lot of tacos. So it naturally progressed to me becoming a taco man because I used to make my own salsas and I used to make this like creamy chimichurri. And that's kind of what got the taco man thing started. My family was like, dude, this chimichurri is bomb. Like, you should make tacos out of it. So I was a taco man for, um, I don't know, 6, 7 years. But I would always barbecue in my backyard because I loved to barbecue. But I was a beginner. I was a novice, so I didn't really know too much of it. Um, but I loved working with charcoal and I loved doing all that stuff. So while I was a taco man, I would always watch YouTube videos, and specifically, I came across Aaron Franklin, um, and a lot of my friends, talk smack about this, but like I'm an Aaron Franklin guy. Like I don't really watch anything else but Aaron Franklin because I don't want my styles to just be all over the place. Like I
Mm.
saw Aaron Franklin, I saw what he did, I was intrigued, and it just got the ball rolling. So I slowly transferred like my taco love into barbecue, and I completely shut my taco business down, and then switched to barbecue, and it's been fun. It's been probably um, I don't know, probably going on 5, 6 years
Okay.
for barbecue itself. So, but check this out though. So with the pop ups, I now kind of do a fusion of like my taco love and barbecue love. So I smoke some pulled pork, some brisket, and I incorporate it with like street tacos and some quesadillas and some queso tacos that I do. So it's been I've got a lot of good reviews, man, and I'm just starting, Brent. So
That's
so it's
awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. Now you mentioned Aaron Franklin kind of being the guy that motivated you early on. Now, have you had a chance to actually go to his restaurant, or have you had any of his food?
No, and I'm very disappointed about that. But I will one day, man. I'll take the trip to Austin, and I'll definitely go. That's for sure.
You definitely have to do it.
Have you been?
I have. I have.
Oh,
So actually, I was in Austin last year, probably about exactly about a year ago from now, because my brother and sister in law moved to New Braunfels, Texas, which is about halfway between Austin and San Antonio. And we had been kind of delaying going out to visit them, but when we did, I definitely wanted to make sure that I tried some of the barbecue restaurants in Central Texas. But the main one on my list was Aaron Franklin's, and it did not disappoint. Um,
nice.
that brisket, because that's what you hear about. He's like the king of brisket and everything, and it totally lived up to the reputation. I mean, before I even tasted it, because they chop it up in front of you, and I was just blown away. And yeah, it was tender, smoky, all of it. So it
So,
was, yeah, it was fantastic. So
so I gotta
definitely.
ask, how many pounds did you order, or what was your order?
Oh my God. I can't remember exactly how many pounds we ordered. Um, I mean, it was enough for us to, have some to take back to my in law's house. We
Right.
also tried the turkey, which was good too. They had some pork ribs. And then they also have like a couple of varieties of sausage that they make in house. There was one, I want to say it was jalapeno cheddar, and that was really good too. But definitely, yeah, the brisket was the star of the show, no question about it. And they were really cool. I mean, Aaron, he wasn't there that day, and my wife is more like socially outgoing than I am, because she knew I was totally geeking out, just about
Right.
about being there, and I made sure we were there, you know, hours before they opened up, because I heard, about how, when they run out, that's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were out there pretty early. But yeah, no, she was like talking to the staff that worked there, and she managed to get us an opportunity to go back to their smokehouse where their smokers were located. So I
Very
got to
cool.
shoot a little bit of footage of their, with the smokers that they have. So it was totally, yeah, it was outstanding. So definitely, yeah, that should be on your bucket list for
Yep.
sure.
I will. I will. I will go and I'll let you know what it's like, man. I'll take some. I'll send you some footage for sure.
All right, yeah, yeah. Um, Now you also mentioned, you got your start, that you used to actually have like a taco business, and then you transitioned that into barbecue. And I have noticed on your page, there's quite a bit of like kind of like a fusion, with the barbecue and the Mexican food. So actually, let me pull up your page here, which is outstanding. So that was actually going to be one of my questions, is, kind of what inspires some of these recipes that you have. I'm trying to remember, there was the name of a particular taco that you talked about. Actually, I think it's in your bio.
I
The
think it's the middle one, the middle picture,
This one, is
the
this
queso taco.
queso taco? Is that how
Yeah,
you say it?
yeah.
So tell me about that.
Um. So I mean, I don't know if I created it, right. I mean, I have a picture from, I think it was 2017 when I first made it. But I was at a taco party, and there was some downtime, and I just threw a tortilla on and started kind of messing around with it, and that's what I came up with. Again, I don't know if I created it or not. I'm sure I didn't, but so it's
That's
it's a
cool.
corn tortilla,
Yeah.
and there's some melty cheese on the inside, and then the crispy cheese on the outside. And you spoke about that fusion, so I add either smoked brisket or pulled pork, or I do a homemade chorizo,
Oh,
and I just throw that in there, man, with some onion, cilantro, and I make those sauces right there. That's a chipotle cream and a chipotle salsa. They both go super well together, and it tastes absolutely amazing, man. Like, and I'm not just saying this because it's my product, but you know it's truly, truly amazing, and the
yeah.
reviews I get after people try it is just outstanding. And I'm trying to run with it, man. Like this is something that I'm proud of, and we'll see where it goes. But if you go to a pop up, you'll definitely see this on the menu for you to try.
All right. Yeah. My daughter is going to be, she's going to be going to Cal State San Luis Obispo. And I know that we're also going to try to incorporate, some trips a little further south down into the LA area as well. So I'm going to put that on my bucket list as well to make it to one of your pop-ups, because your stuff just looks fantastic. Let me just pause. So, for the folks who are joining us, please feel free to, put in some comments, ask questions. We want this to be, totally interactive. And, both Joe and I, we love barbecue. And, I think I can speak for him as well. We're trying to, just inspire people, to get out there, get in your backyard, use your smokers, your grills, barbecue. So if you have any questions, anything barbecue related at all, please feel free to jump in with a question, and we'll try to get to it. Now tell me
You know,
more. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. So I just did an event with one of the meat companies I'm with, and they serve tacos, and I kind of I did a queso taco for one of the employees, and it kind of just it snowballed, man, into the employees lining up for these things, and
Oh, that's
it was
cool.
pretty intense. But that's how it goes usually. Like my buddy Ed ordered a queso taco at one of my last pop ups, and then people online were like, "Yo, what is that?" He's like, "Yo, this is a queso taco." So they're like, so after that, it snowballed into order after order, and it's awesome. It's feeling, man, and it's yeah, something I'm super proud of for sure.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Now, so in addition to that, so what are other things would you consider to be, like your specialties, or that you're really proud of?
I pride myself in sauces. Uh, you know, like I mentioned, I make a chipotle cream and chipotle salsa, but not just that. Like I'm constantly, making new salsas. I make like a something, a house salsa, which is tomato based. It's like your typical, salsa that you order at a restaurant when you sit down, but it's a little tweaked. It's tweaked a little bit. I make a creamy chimichurri. I make like roasted poblano cream sauce. So I'm always messing with sauces, sorry, to pair with certain foods. So that's kind of my specialty. I love doing that stuff. And so far, man, and all the sauces that I've created have been really good. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Now, have you? I see a lot of guys, who are doing this type of thing, and then they begin to like sell their own spices or rubs, or in your case, maybe sauces. Are you already selling? Are you thinking about doing that?
Yeah, so I have a spicy jalapeno rub that I have. I'm out of stock right now, but I usually have the jalapeno rub, which is awesome, like on eggs or wings, or you can top whatever. Seriously, you can top whatever with it, like beans, salad, burritos, whatever. My sister just texted me the other day saying that she had some corn and she topped it with that spicy jalapeno rub. And then I also have a mustard-based barbecue sauce, which is it's called California Gold, and I call it brisket's best friend because it is outstanding with brisket, man. Anybody who's tried it with brisket just keeps coming back for more. I'm also out of that, so
All
I
right,
got to get
that's a
some
good
more.
sign.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm messing with like a mop sauce, so it's like it's the California Gold incorporated with a little bit more vinegar and some pepper flakes, a little bit of sugar to like off balance the acidity of the vinegar. But that's more for the vinegar lovers. So I got the California Gold, which is like essentially a sweet mustard, and then I'm messing with that mop sauce for the vinegar lovers. So I got those two sauces and the rub. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna make more. Like that's like I don't know if that's a deep passion of mine. Like I do love making them, but the selling part is
Yeah,
it can be hit or miss. So um, it's just like it's really more for homies and people that come to my house for a barbecue. Like, hey, check this out, check out my sauce, or here's a rub. It's kind of like that. But if you follow me, like I don't really push any of that stuff because you know
yeah.
you want it, it's there, you buy it, whatever. But um, yeah,
Yeah, that's a whole, like the whole marketing, selling, products like that. That's an entirely different thing from, just being out there doing the cooking, which is what you love. And I totally get it. Because I got people constantly coming to me, saying, trying to encourage me to do like a pop up or to try and sell something, and so I admire a guy like you that's actually doing it because I know that that's a grind, man. I know that
oh
that's
yeah,
that's hard, hard work. But you got to be super passionate, to be able, to do that on a consistent basis. So I definitely tip my hat, to you for doing that. But yeah, selling sauces on a regular basis, yeah, that's a totally different thing. So I get it. Um,
yep.
so I just kind of made a little tweak here while you were talking, so we could more better see looks like your upcoming pop up schedule.
Yeah, so I have four breweries coming up. Um, Two at Pro Five, one at Storytellers and King's Brewing. So they're local. I try to stay in the Inland Empire. I try not to go outside of that.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, it's a grind, like you said. These pop ups, especially because I got a full time job, man. I got a family.
yeah,
Trying to, I have almost like a quota to hit on social media for the posts that I do. So trying to do that with the pop ups, it's definitely a grind. It's
right.
tiring, but like you said, if you don't have the passion for it, I would never make it. But this is my passion, and it's what I love to do. So that's what keeps me going. You know what I mean?
Totally get it. And since you mentioned it, so why don't you tell us about some of the uh, companies that you have affiliations with?
Yeah. So I'm with B&B Charcoal. Um, I'm with Char Griller. I'm with Butler Beef. I'm with Branding Iron Ranch. I'm with Killer Hogs, Mr. Malcolm Reed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm with Hot Iron Pepper Rubs. Um, oh man, I don't want to miss anybody. Thermopro. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
And
So
yeah. Well, that's great. So you're definitely well connected there. So that's great as well. Um, Let me just go through. Oh, I also wanted to ask you about the no wrap ribs. So, there's always that constant debate, should you wrap? And if you do wrap, is the 3-2-1 method the best? Or is it something else? I mean, I recently started doing something that's not the 3-2-1 because I don't think they quite need to be on that long if you're going to be wrapping. But yeah, tell me about the no wrap ribs and what's your secret?
So um, I'm a no wrap guy for ribs because if you see the bark right there,
Yeah,
that's to me that's what it's all about. I feel like if you wrap ribs, it'll get you won't the bark will lose integrity, and um, I need that bark. So I go about 275 until the bark is set. Um, and sometimes depending on the smoker I use or the grill or whatever, like it can take 4 hours. It can take up to 5 hours, man, depending on how I do it. I can put the ribs closer to the fire chamber or put it farther away.
right.
It all depends on what I want to do for that day. You know what I mean? So if I want to go like hot and fast, I'll even go 350, man, and just
Really?
like rocket those ribs out. Yeah. So, um, you know, is there a secret? I don't know. It's just, you do what you want to do. You know what I mean? And if it works for you, then it works. But for me, I just put them on my smoker and I let them go. You know what I mean? I just watch my fire. As long as my temperature is consistent and I'm burning clean fire,
Yep.
then clean smoke, then that's what I'm worried about. Now in this video, you can see that I'm using the char griller um, gravity. So the gravity works almost like a pellet smoker. So but you use real charcoal or wood chunks or whatever. You don't use any pellets, but it pulls the charcoal and the wood, as it burns down. So you really don't have to touch it. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the comment section how long it took for these ribs, but I think these were like 5 hours or so. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and I don't go for temp either. Like I'll grab the ribs from the middle of the rack. If they're bendy and they seem tender, then that's when I'll pull. But I would assume you know the ribs would probably be close to 200. But I also like a bite to my ribs. I don't like fall off the bone. So
Yeah.
that's probably around like 190 ish. Um, is how I like my ribs.
Okay. Now, see, yeah, I was gonna ask you, how do you know they're done? So you're kind of looking at how they bend from the middle.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'll put my hands on, grab them, and then I'll bend it from the middle. And if they bend nicely, then I know they're done. You know what I mean? But if they're like kind of a little stiff, then it needs a little more work. So I'll just leave them in the smoker. But by
Okay.
that time, like the bark is already set, and I'm good.
Yeah. I'm gonna try this too. So I'll have to admit. So when I first got into barbecue, one of my motivations was to learn how to make, good ribs. Because that's I kind of got inspired by my father-in-law, and his were always, I mean, they were the fall off the bone type. So that's what I was trying to do from the beginning. But then as I got, more educated, more into barbecue, I kind of learned that, yeah, that's not really, the best ribs necessarily, because it really just means that they're overcooked, you
Right.
know. And then, one of my downfalls though is that I have been trying, all types of different methods, like trying to find the holy grail, from, different wrapping and, timing and, or not doing a wrap and doing like what you've described. And just never really settling, on one thing. But I think like what you described is really what I'm looking for as well. So yeah, I want them to be tender, but I don't want them to be, yeah, like you pick them up and the bones just fall out. You know, I don't want them like that. And yeah, the rub is important, or the bark is important to me, because I actually prefer usually not to serve them with sauce. Kind of make that optional if someone wants it, you know. And I feel like it should be able to stand on its own, you know, without the sauce. So yeah, keeping the integrity of the bark is important. So what you described, I mean, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Totally.
And I'll tell you what, man, two of my buddies had the no wrap ribs, and these buddies always wrapped their ribs, but once they tried them with no wrap, they were sold, and they're like, we don't wrap our ribs anymore. So you might be the same way, man. If you wrap your ribs and you try the no wrap method, you'll be like, all right, these are amazing. I'm sold. They're still juicy.
Yeah.
Got a nice bark. Makes for an awesome rack of ribs.
I'm gonna try it. Yeah, because I just did like, I think it was 3-1-45. You know, I did that method and that worked really good. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try your no wrap method again. That looks pretty good.
I've never been a fan of cooking your food at a preset like amount of hours. You know what I mean? Like the 3-2-1. Like,
yeah,
sure, that may work, but to me, it's just like they're done when they're done. Like, I don't want to like. To me, the 3-2-1 method. I think I've tried it a couple times, and I didn't like the way they came out. But you know, because every smoker is different, every grill is different. Like, what type of grill are you using? Does it, you know, where do you put your ribs? Do you put it on the hotter side or the, you know, the indirect, so to speak, side? So it can cook differently in that 3 hours compared to another smoker when you do the 3-2-1 method. So that's why I don't go by that. I just put them in, watch my fire, and when they're done, they're done.
Absolutely. Let me just take a pause here. Oops, and I see I kind of messed that up. All right, there you go. Got you on screen. For two purposes. So I know we've got people watching. I see the likes, but what I haven't seen yet are any comments or any questions. And so I'm kind of wondering if either I'm not seeing them, or maybe no one has any questions or comments. But, you know, if you are watching live right now, please do me a favor. Just type, you know, hey, you know, we're here. You know, give me your name or something, just so that I know that the comments are working. And then the other thing, just on my website, backyardsmokemaster.com, I do have a giveaway going right now. It's a 4th of July giveaway, totally free to enter. Giving away a caveman style Serbian chef's knife. And actually I learned about caveman through Joe, as a matter of fact, but I have one of those that I'm giving away with a ThermoPro wireless thermometer. So looking to give that away. So all you got to do, go to backyardsmokemaster.com and you can enter and do that. Okay. So the comments are working. Thank you. Thank you so much. Archangelo Hades. All right. I hope I'm saying that right. Appreciate you jumping in there and letting me know that the comments are working. And then, oh, this is cool. Hold on. And then, okay, now actually Grace here is working is watching from the Philippines. Appreciate you, Grace. And Grace actually helps me out with my website and everything. So glad to see that you are watching, Grace. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can figure out. Okay, so it's 9:30 a.m. right now in the Philippines, and for them it's July the 3rd. So they're like ahead of us. So appreciate you letting me know that they're working. All right. Let me go back here. Let's see. Now, let me ask you about your pop-ups. Um, do you have a regular team that works with you on the pop-ups? Or is it like your family? Like I know you're not just out there by yourself, are you? I hope you got some help.
No, I'm not. So I usually ask my kids to help me. And if they're not available, then I'll usually go to like one of the barbecue homies
Oh,
and ask them.
okay.
Yeah, I mean it's normally just like register help. Um, but I feed them, so
Yeah.
I pay them, of course, and I feed them. But yeah, so it's family first, and then the people I that I'm close to in the barbecue community. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's your kids, not just that your kids will, are helping you, but that they're willing to help you.
yeah.
Let me ask you. So how many kids do you have and how old are they?
Oh boy, I got a 17-year-old who's just about to be a senior, um, a 15-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, as you can imagine, life at home is intense.
Yes.
Uh,
Nonstop.
so throwing everything else in the loop is just wild. You know what I mean? So um, I'm very blessed to have them for sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's wild over here.
Totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, I have an 18-year-old. I mentioned that she'll be a freshman at Cal Poly SLO. Um, but so I imagine it's your 17-year-old that will help you out. Whereas I can't get my 18-year-old to do, she's just not interested, in the barbecue stuff, other than eating it. But that's
Right.
about the extent. Now, Grace has a question for you, Joe. So, how do you choose your content or your food that you are going to cook and post in your social media?
Good question. So I'm not trying to be like cocky or anything here, but I get a box of beef from my Butler Beef Company, and I also get product from Branding Iron Ranch. So I get quite a few products every month, and it's literally just I'm pulling the stuff out of the containers, and it's just kind of on the spot, like
Yeah.
you know. So essentially, I get everything, I throw it in my freezer, and then every week I just go into the freezer, pull out pretty much everything, and decide what do I want to cook this week. And I don't pull any recipes from online or any websites or anything. It's literally all from the top of my head. And as I do these recipes, whether it's, if I'm creating a new sauce or I'm creating anything new, I'll write it down and just kind of go from there. So a lot of this stuff, some of the stuff is simple, like tacos, um, chicken sandwiches, stuff like that. They're simple, but even if I create like my own, sauce or I do my dredge station, like all that stuff, like I just kind of do it off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um, so I hope that answers the question.
Nah, even that's even better, that you're just coming up with your own, whatever strikes you. So that's awesome. Shout
Yeah,
out to Lynn who's watching us from LA. Lynn is a longtime friend. I've known Lynn a long time. We used to work
I Lynn.
together. So glad to see you here, Lynn. Let's see, we had another question. Let me get that back up here. All right. So CeeLo, I'm new to like grilling stuff. I like the smoky taste of foods, but my partner doesn't like that. Do you have tips on how to make foods less smoky flavor?
I would kind of say two things. So I think depending on what you're cooking on, if you're cooking on like something like an offset, you have to have clean smoke. So normally when you add charcoal or wood to your offset, you'll get this really white billowing smoke, which is called dirty smoke. And never ever put your food into your cooking chamber when it's like that. You let it clear out, and you almost want to see nothing, right? You almost want to see no smoke coming out of your smoke box, and that's clean smoke, and that'll give your food some smoke flavor, but it won't be overpowering whatsoever. Another tip that I will give is, I feel, in my personal opinion, if you go hot and fast, if you do like steaks or chicken wings or something, and it's right over charcoal, you don't get much smoky flavor, right? You get like a charry grill flavor, but it's not smoky. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Um,
No, totally, totally. And then I would also add, if you're new, new to grilling, new to smoking, and you don't really want a heavy smoke flavor on your food, I would probably say, you might be the right candidate for a pellet grill, pellet smoker, because generally those produce a much lighter smoke profile than charcoal based cookers or like an offset smoker like what Joe talked about where you're cooking with wood splits. So that definitely consider a pellet grill. Let's see.
do you have a
Also,
pellet grill?
I do. I
Okay.
have. I got a little bit of everything, Joe.
Okay.
I got a pellet grill, offset smoker, couple of drum smokers, Weber Summit Kamado, some more kettles. So uh,
You know what? I think that's awesome. Like the versatility
yeah,
of grills and smokers. Like I just came back from Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. I did some filming with B&B, and I get there and there was a drum smoker. There was a hasty bake. There was like a $20 grill from Walmart, and all grills that I've never used before. So to me, that stuff is exciting. Like I'm intrigued. Like I want to learn how to use these. You know, so the versatility is super awesome. I mean, I can't speak on a pellet smoker because I don't have one. But I did kind of mention my char griller Gravity works
yeah.
like a pellet smoker, but it takes charcoal and wood chunks. But that's awesome, man. That's very cool that you have a lot of smokers, and the wife will never understand that we as
Yeah.
barbecuers can always use one more. You know what I mean? There's always one more that we need to add to our collection.
And I'll say I've been fortunate in that regard that my wife has been, she hasn't given me grief, over that because she sees that I really do use them. They're not just here
Right.
collecting dust. She enjoys the food, and I can also like cook from time to time. The church will ask me to do some cooking as well. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, she sees the benefits to it for sure. So I have been fortunate, in that regard. All right, we got CeeLo again, another one. Just normal charcoal would do, or is there a specific wood to use for that?
If you want less smoke flavor, definitely don't go wood. I would just go charcoal, and I would wait for that charcoal to turn completely white. So you're essentially it's your what am I trying to say here? Like it's your heat source, right?
Yeah.
So you're cooking over that heat, but you're not necessarily getting any smoke flavor to it.
Huh. Okay, so that's yeah. So you would recommend just go straight if you're gonna cook with charcoal, just go straight charcoal and don't bother adding any wood chunks.
That's correct. I mean, specifically for CeeLo, because he's trying to get away from the smoke flavor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would definitely not use any wood chips, wood chunks,
Yeah.
just nothing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me go back to your page because I did intend to ask you, oops, about the hot chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah, dude, that was so good, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I made my own buttermilk, and
Wait, you made your own buttermilk?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
If you see in
wow.
the first shot there, um I show you what I did. I think it's like 1 tablespoon of vinegar with milk or something. And
Okay. Okay. So you
yeah,
don't have to even bother going to the store. You know, if
no,
you have the ingredients, you can make your buttermilk yourself. I didn't know that.
yes,
That's
sir.
really cool.
Yep, you just let it sit for like 10, 15 minutes, and you got
Really?
buttermilk, man. Yep.
Okay.
you,
Dang.
le- you
Okay.
learned
My
something new, man.
mind is blown. Just 10 or
Yeah,
15 minutes too. Okay.
yeah,
Sold.
yeah.
Sold.
See, and stuff like this, like the finishing sauce that I put on the chicken, like
Yeah.
that's all on a whim. I didn't read anything. To me, it's just like, what do I want? What are flavors that I like in my food? So that's how I roll. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. No,
Hi, Chad.
that's awesome. Now, getting
Yeah.
back to because you mentioned the gravity cooker a few times, and I meant to ask you about that because you said it's a lot like a pellet grill, but you're cooking with charcoal and with wood, right?
Yes.
Does it have like a so is it similar to a pellet grill in that it's got like the electronics where you punch in what temperature you want? Is that how it's similar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I love working a fire, but sometimes
Yep.
I just don't have the time. You know what I mean? So I sometimes I throw the food in there and I just let it roll. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. That
and
that
I
yeah. Go
I feel
ahead.
like the gravity gives like a somewhat of a strong like charcoal flavor. That I'm not too happy with, but I feel if you put something in that takes longer to cook, like a pork butt or a brisket, then it'll lose that strong charcoal flavor and give a little bit of smoke flavor that I like. So just depends what you cook in it, but it's super easy. You just throw the charcoal in, put the temp that you want, and let it ride. Essentially, like a pellet grill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I totally relate to that. Like you said, sometimes you don't have the time or the energy, to be out there with the offset smoker. So, and that's exactly why, I still have my pellet grill and I use it, on a regular basis, especially, holding down that full time job in the evening, and you want to
Yeah,
get something cooked and you don't have all night, and you don't want to be out there tinkering and everything. So, yeah, that's when my pellet grill, you know, is my favorite one out there. When I can
absolutely.
just punch in that temperature that I want, and then it does all the work for me. So totally,
Yep.
totally get that.
And my favorite thing is an offset.
Yes.
When it comes to barbecue, like an offset is what made me fall in love with barbecue. Kind of going back to Aaron Franklin, I saw him doing his offsets, and funny story, man. So after watching his videos, I bought an offset, and then I got discouraged because I would either I would either like lose temperature too much, it would spike, and I couldn't get it down, so I got discouraged and I sold that offset.
Mm.
but but that, I still loved barbecue, and I was like, I gotta try this again. So I bought another offset, and took the time and actually learned on it, and then the rest is history, man. Like I mean, it's still a challenge today. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about it. I love the challenge. Like, I don't want my temp to spike. Like, 5 minute, 5 degrees is all I want to lose if I'm going to lose or spike at all. And it's that challenge of like, how many splits do I put? Do I take it away? Do I, whatever it is. And that's what I love about an offset.
So you're preaching to the choir, because what you're saying, I mean, that is like my story is very very similar. I bought early on. I think I started with I had a gas grill that's been relegated to my garage now. But after I got the gas
Good.
grill, I bought a Weber Smoky Mountain, and like what you talked about, kind of getting discouraged, and trying to learn how to manage the temperatures and getting a little bit discouraged early on. That's what I experienced with the Weber Smoky Mountain. So I sold it, and then I've been regretting it, ever since.
Right,
Um,
right.
but I always think back to, even though I was frustrated, the Weber Smoky Mountain, I think, is the one that taught me the most about temperature control. Because then everything after that, it started to finally click in my head, the adjustments that I needed to make, what I needed to do. And then I graduated to, an offset smoker. And like you said, the offset, yeah, it's the most challenging to cook on. But to me, it's also the most rewarding, and it's my
Oh, for sure.
favorite. Yeah, it's
Yep.
still my favorite. I have other cookers, that are, versatile, like the Weber Summit Kamado. But, if time is not an issue, I'm going to be out there with my offset smoker, cooking with those wood splits and trying to keep that temperature, within a certain range.
Yep.
I don't go crazy with it, like killing myself if it spikes up, a little bit more than what I want. But yeah, totally get it. The offset is definitely the one that I enjoy the most. Let me see. I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
sure if I got this one up there. It looks like Chad wants you to talk about those queso tacos.
So Chad is a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
He goes by Smoke City Barbecue, from like the San Diego area. So he's another fan of the queso tacos that I do. He's a very big supporter, and so last time I was at my buddy's house, I think Chad had like two full queso tacos, and he's just like, man, I want more, but there's so much cheese, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's so fatty, and but it's delicious, and he's a real big fan of those tacos, man. um
Here, I'm trying
but
to
yeah,
trying to see if I can find them. Are they on your page? The
yeah, so
queso
it's that
tacos?
it's that first all the way up top, that middle picture.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, right here.
yeah,
This one. Oh,
yeah,
right. That's right. Yeah, you talked about this at the top. Yeah, this is
yeah.
the one that I have to try. Yeah, the
Oh,
queso
dude.
tacos.
Hey, you know what, my phone is at 2%.
Okay. Well, you know what? Because we are almost, at the top of the hour, so we're at six. It's 6:50 p.m. So I wasn't gonna go much more than that. But
Okay.
hey, real quick here before I let you go, because it looks like CeeLo had one more. Let's see. Oops. I think this question would help me a lot. What is the biggest mistake you have experienced that you want to share for us beginners? How can we avoid it?
Oh man, biggest mistake that I've experienced. um
Well, I would say be patient. Give yourself grace. Don't expect and don't chase temperatures. Like if you're following some recipe that says 275 and your smoker is giving you, 250 or 280, just go with it. Don't drive yourself overly crazy, trying to get perfection. Because ultimately, like if you're smoking, you can accomplish smoking within a range. If you're between 225 and even as high as like 325, 350, you're still getting some smoke flavor. So that's what I would say real quick.
I think that's a good one, man. I'll go with your answer.
Okay.
I'm at 1%, bro.
Okay. Well, you know what? So
I,
I think,
I mean, I can log in on the computer.
okay. Well, hold on here. I think you're doing that. So let me do this. I'm going to hang up on the phone. I'm going to hopefully get you in. Let's see. Are you there? Hold on. All right.
Hey.
I think I got you back.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's okay. This is live. So stuff happens, guys. So we appreciate you hanging with us. And we're having a great discussion, and the questions and comments are coming in. So definitely appreciate everyone. So Lynn has a question. Do you make your own rubs?
Um, I do make my own rub. It's a spicy jalapeno rub, but for a lot of the cooking, I just use other people's rubs. One to support, to give awareness, to people out there that this is the rub I'm using, and to hopefully support that brand. Like one of the biggest ones, man, is the B&B Texas Trinity rub. Um, that is my absolute favorite for all things. And if you've never tried it, it is phenomenal.
Say it again.
But yeah, I
The
mean,
B and
I
B. Which one is it? B and B.
the B&B Texas Trinity.
Oh, Texas Trinity. Okay. So is that like?
Yeah.
Let me guess. The Trinity. So that's like to mirror. What do they call the Holy Trinity again? Isn't it like?
SPG, salt,
Okay. So
pepper,
salt,
garlic.
pepper, garlic. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it has a little bit of sugar. I mean, I don't know what else, but you know, it's what I use on my pork butts, my brisket, and a lot of other things. But to answer the question, I do make one rub, and it's a spicy jalapeno rub. It's
Right.
very diverse, and it goes. I mean, it goes best on eggs, but it goes on a lot of things. I normally have a link in my bio that people can click and purchase the rub, but I'm all out, so hopefully pretty soon I'll have those available.
Okay. Okay. And then just to kind of piggyback on that, I also, will use a lot of other people's rubs. There's just so many out there, outstanding ones. But on the flip side, especially when you are starting out, just know that you don't have to use, the store bought or other people's rubs. You can concoct, your own. I think usually a good base to start with is what Joe just described, the Holy Trinity, salt, pepper, garlic. And then you can add, other things that you might like. Maybe you like paprika, maybe add that, maybe add some sugar. You can kind of make your own combination and see what really works for you and your family as well. So, one of the great things that I love about barbecue is that there is no one absolute way that you have to do anything. There's a
Right.
ton of different ways to do the same thing, and you can get there the same way, just different methods. That's part of the fun of it, is trying different stuff. Let's
Yep.
see. Okay, John is asking. I think this is for me. Think you'll ever get another Weber Smoky Mountain? I am always on the hunt, so I don't want to go out and buy another one brand new, but I'm constantly checking like Craigslist or those Facebook listings for used smokers. So if I do see one, and the one thing that I do different, I have the 18-inch, but if I get another one, I'd like it to be the bigger one, which I think is 22. So I don't need it because I have the Summit Kamado, which pretty much can do whatever the Smoky Mountain can do. But yeah, if I see a good deal for one, I'm going to grab it because, like Joe said, you can never have too many smokers. You always can use one more. So, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, again, we are.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. I just want to say one thing. So when I do pop-ups and events, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep
Okay.
changing these scenes, and I think because you're on a different camera, it keeps I have to kind of reset every scene that I switch to. But I got you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was just gonna say, so with every pop-up that I do, um, I take turns with these. I give back to charity a percentage of my profits, and I just want to raise awareness for these charities. There's four that I take turns giving to, and that's Save the Children, Feeding the Children, Front Sight Military Outreach, and Stronghold Rescue and Relief. If you guys have never heard of these charities, it's to feed children, protect children from human trafficking. It's to help our military who have come back from war, their mental health, and the Stronghold Rescue and Relief Company. They protect and care for families in conflict zones. So they have soldiers who have retired from the military who will go into specific war zones and protect these families, man, who are caught in the middle of them. So when you come to a pop up and you support me, you're not only supporting me, but you're supporting these companies that I really believe in. And so thank you in advance, or thank you if you've supported me at one of my previous pop ups.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the things I'll say, I heard someone say it. That people who are really passionate about barbecue tend to just be good people, and I think Joe is someone who embodies that, and just, what he talked about, that, he's just not out there trying to make a buck, but he's also giving back, and he's passionate, about those charities. So that's awesome. And I'll just say, on my own behalf, if you do, follow me on Facebook or other places, you'll often see me making reference to Operation BBQ Relief. They are an organization that when natural disasters hit, they deploy volunteers to go to those places with the mission of providing good hot barbecue for first responders, as well as, for people who just may need the help, as a result of the natural disaster. So that's one that I believe in. And on my personal Facebook page right now, I'm participating in St. Jude's July weekly grilling challenge, where all money raised for that will go to support families who need medical care for their children. And I'm actually, let me see if I can get it in a shot. I'm actually wearing my St. Jude shirt. that they sent me.
Awesome. That's cool.
So working on that right now. So yeah, that's awesome. So Joe, I'm
Very cool.
gonna go ahead and start to wrap this up. But let me go back here, and as Joe was talking, oops, if you want to get more information about the stuff that Joe is involved with, can't seem to get that comment off the screen. Okay, there we go. Oh, whatever. Whatever, I give up. We're live. But check out Joe's link tree. So at Q Bellies. Also, again, he's got that outstanding Instagram page. But here on his link tree, you can see a lot of the companies that Joe is affiliated or does work with. Quite an extensive list. And again, let me just say again, I'm trying to, again, for you guys, get more consistent about doing these barbecue live podcasts. And I'm, trying to find, cool people like Joe to come on and talk to me. So really do appreciate you, Joe. Because again, I remember I just put a post up on Instagram where I was like, I'm looking for people, if you're willing to come on, let me know. And Joe was the one guy who responded, and I'm so glad that you did, because I'm just really happy that we've been able to, connect on a deeper level than just the social media posts, and being able to talk, to chop it up about barbecue. Every time, that I talk to you, I find that we have just so much in common. I think our passion about barbecue comes from similar places. And again, I really respect, the grind, that you're doing with the pop-ups, and just your commitment, to, as Harry Sue would say, spreading the barbecue love, to steal one of his phrases. So again, man, appreciate you coming on. Hope we can do it again. Keep grinding, and I'll be checking you out. And I'm serious. Well, I'm going to try to make it to one of your pop-ups so we can meet in person. And I got to try that quesataco. Did I say it right? Queso taco.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hey, man. Well, seriously, thank you for having me. Kind of like you mentioned, this is our second time around. I had a awesome time the first time, and we've kind of been talking here and there periodically, and it's always a good time to talk to you. And I appreciate you bringing me on, man. It's been fun, and this definitely isn't the last time. We're gonna chop it up again for sure.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yes,
no,
sir.
but I know that'll happen. So again, want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Again, check out Joe at Q Bellies. Also, again, it's not too late to enter my 4th of July giveaway. So just go to backyardsmokemaster.com, and it's right there at the top of the page. Appreciate you tuning in to the live podcast, and for everyone that came through and added to it. Appreciate Grace, Chad, John, Lynn, CeeLo. Let's see, trying to see if I'm missing anybody. And at the top of the show, we had Archangelo Hades. So appreciate all you guys for contributing with your comments and your questions. That helps, keep the energy up, and helps just keep the show moving along. So we're going to sign off, wishing everyone a very happy and safe 4th of July. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care, and we'll see you again soon.
Peace.
All right. Thanks again, Joe.
All right, man. See ya.